Prince Harry's childhood was a landscape of profound emotional devastation, where childhood innocence collided with unthinkable tragedy. At just 12 years old, his psychological defense mechanism manifested in a heartbreaking belief that Princess Diana wasn't actually dead, but strategically hiding, the only conceivable escape from the relentless media persecution that had defined her life. This desperate mental construct reveals the depth of his childhood trauma, a coping mechanism so raw and vulnerable that it speaks volumes about the emotional violence inflicted on a young boy, forced to publicly mourn his mother while cameras hungrily captured every moment of his grief. The media's ruthless intrusion hadn't just stolen his mother, they had systematically dismantled his ability to process loss normally, pushing him into a protective fantasy where denial became his only sanctuary. This singular moment of childhood psychological self-preservation would ultimately shape Harry's lifelong crusade against invasive media practices and his fierce protection of his own family's privacy, transforming personal pain into a powerful narrative of resilience and healing. The heartbreaking journey of a young Prince Harry's unimaginable grief. In the raw, devastating aftermath of Princess Diana's tragic death, 12-year-old Prince Harry was thrust into an unimaginable emotional landscape where childhood innocence collided with profound, heart-wrenching loss. The young prince, grappling with an incomprehensible reality, initially clung to a desperate psychological defense mechanism, convincing himself that his beloved mother wasn't truly gone, but instead had orchestrated an elaborate disappearance as her only path to personal peace and escape from the relentless media scrutiny that had haunted her life. The global media's voracious appetite for every microscopic detail of the royal family's mourning only compounded Harry's trauma, transforming his private grief into a public spectacle where photographers and journalists circled like vultures, dissecting every moment of vulnerability, with a callousness that would permanently scar the young prince's perception of media and public intrusion. This crucible of grief would ultimately forge Harry's lifelong mistrust of tabloid culture and set the stage for his future protective stance towards his own family, determined to shield them from the same predatory mechanisms that he believed had contributed to his mother's suffering and ultimate demise. The unthinkable loss, a young prince's desperate denial. In the raw aftermath of Princess Diana's tragic death, young Prince Harry's mind constructed an almost heartbreaking coping mechanism of believing his mother wasn't truly gone, but instead had deliberately disappeared to escape the relentless media scrutiny that had defined her life. His childhood grief transformed into a psychological shield, where he imagined Diana had strategically chosen to hide away, seeking the peace that had been systematically denied her during her tumultuous years in the royal spotlight. The pervasive media machinery that had stalked and dissected her every move now became, in Harry's traumatized perspective, the very reason she would need to vanish, a narrative that allowed his 12-year-old mind to reject the devastating finality of her loss. This profound emotional response revealed not just a child's desperate attempt to make sense of an incomprehensible tragedy, but also exposed the deep psychological wounds inflicted by the invasive, predatory media culture that had shadowed his mother's entire public existence. Royal Reckoning: Harry's quest for media accountability. In the relentless pursuit of justice, Prince Harry has emerged as a formidable force against the predatory media landscape that once devastated his family. His targeted efforts to secure an apology from Rupert Murdoch represent more than a personal vendetta. They symbolize a broader crusade to hold powerful media moguls accountable for their destructive practices. Having witnessed firsthand the catastrophic consequences of unchecked journalistic intrusion, most painfully illustrated by the media's role in his mother, Princess Diana's tragic death, Harry understands that meaningful change requires confronting systemic harassment at its source. By demanding accountability from Murdoch, whose media empire has repeatedly crossed ethical lines, The prince is not just seeking personal vindication, but establishing a critical precedent that challenges the toxic culture of sensationalism and invasion of privacy that has long plagued the royal family and public figures alike. Prince Harry's journey, healing through family love. After enduring years of emotional trauma and public scrutiny, Prince Harry discovered that creating his own family with Meghan and their children became his most profound path to healing. The devastating loss of his mother and the relentless media intrusion had left deep psychological wounds, but building a loving, protected family unit offered him a sanctuary of genuine connection and emotional restoration. By choosing to prioritize his wife and children's well-being, Harry transformed his childhood pain into a powerful narrative of resilience, deliberately crafting a nurturing environment where love, privacy, and mutual respect could flourish, far from the toxic dynamics of his royal past. His commitment to breaking generational cycles of emotional suppression and creating a safe, supportive family became not just a personal triumph, but a testament to his emotional intelligence and deep understanding of genuine familial bonds. The enduring flame. Diana's legacy in Prince Harry's heart. Prince Harry's life remains profoundly shaped by the memory of his mother, Princess Diana, a transformative influence that transcends her tragic death. Her compassionate spirit and commitment to humanitarian causes have become a living blueprint for Harry's own global advocacy work, from mental health awareness to supporting vulnerable communities. Where once a young boy desperately hoped his mother might miraculously return, Harry has now channeled his grief into meaningful action, ensuring Diana's legacy of empathy and social justice continues through his personal and philanthropic endeavours. Her unwavering dedication to challenging societal norms and supporting marginalised populations clearly resonates in Harry's own bold stance against institutional prejudice and media exploitation, making her memory not just a memorial, but an active, powerful force driving his life's mission. The royal burden. Navigating personal survival in the spotlight is, well, something quite unique. Living within the gilded cage of royal expectations demands an extraordinary resilience that, frankly, few truly comprehend. Prince Harry's journey illustrates the profound psychological toll of constant public scrutiny, where personal grief and institutional demands collide in a relentless media maelstrom. The royal family's unspoken mandate of stoicism directly conflicts with individual emotional survival, forcing members like Harry to develop sophisticated coping mechanisms just to maintain psychological integrity. Privacy becomes a precious and nearly impossible commodity, with every gesture, expression and life choice dissected by a ravenous media ecosystem that sees royal lives as public entertainment rather than human experiences. His strategic retreat from traditional royal protocols represents not just a personal rebellion, but a radical act of self-preservation, establishing boundaries that protect his mental health and his family's fundamental right to intimacy away from predatory public consumption. Prince Harry breaking the silence on mental health has been, without a doubt, a journey shaped by deeply personal experiences of grief, trauma, and the psychological toll of living under intense public scrutiny. Drawing from his own profound struggles following his mother, Princess Diana's tragic death, Harry has emerged as a powerful voice in destigmatizing mental health conversations. By candidly sharing his experiences with therapy, processing childhood grief, and confronting the emotional challenges of royal life, he has transformed his personal pain into a broader movement of healing and understanding. His transparency about seeking professional help and openly discussing psychological vulnerabilities has been revolutionary, particularly for men who have traditionally been discouraged from expressing emotional vulnerability. Through platforms like the Invictus Games and collaborations with mental health organizations, Harry has consistently championed the message that seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness, helping countless individuals feel less alone in their internal battles. The evolution of royal relevance, Harry's transformative vision, marks a real turning point. Prince Harry emerged as a revolutionary force within the British monarchy, boldly dismantling centuries-old rigidity with a refreshingly modern approach. Where traditional royals maintained an untouchable, distant persona, Harry deliberately reimagined the royal role as something more human and connected. A living, breathing institution capable of genuine empathy and real-world engagement. His willingness to challenge established norms wasn't just about personal rebellion, but a strategic recalibration of royal purpose, demonstrating that monarchy could be simultaneously prestigious and accessible. By openly discussing mental health, confronting institutional racism, and sharing vulnerable personal narratives, Harry proposed a radical redefinition of royal duty, not as distant figureheads, but as relatable public servants genuinely committed to social progress and human connection. Prince Harry, a testament to resilience and healing, truly stands as an extraordinary example. In the wake of unimaginable childhood trauma, Prince Harry's journey has been a profound transformation from profound grief to remarkable personal resilience. Emerging from the devastating loss of his mother, Princess Diana, he has not merely survived but thrived, channeling his pain into a powerful mission of healing and positive change. By openly discussing his mental health struggles, sharing his vulnerabilities and advocating for psychological wellness, Harry has transformed his personal tragedy into a beacon of hope for others navigating complex emotional landscapes. His commitment to breaking generational cycles of silent suffering and his unwavering dedication to protecting his own family demonstrate a remarkable strength of character, turning the profound wounds of his past into a powerful narrative of healing, compassion, and genuine human connection.